Hey, this is Bobby Roode from Impact Wrestling, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report on My24 Milwaukee.
The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. It's Fan Appreciation Night. It's all about you, your questions about the world of professional wrestling here tonight. And we'll be answering them as you have submitted them via email. We'll also have a couple more picks in the Supplemental Draft, all coming up right here, right now. PWR Primetime Saturday night.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside the loser.
We're starting that already?
Well, did you or did you not lose the 2011 Pro Wrestling Report draft? Did you or did you not lose? Did you or did you not lose? You lost, right?
I didn't win.
You lost, thus making you a loser.
I just didn't win.
It's Fan Appreciation Night, ladies and gentlemen. We're answering your questions. Many of you have visited us on the web, pwrshow.com, and submitted your questions to us via email. Well, we're going to take some time this week to just pay back and to give you the answers to some of those questions. The first of which comes to us from Dylan in Brooklyn, New York. David, listen closely. Dylan's question is as follows. My question stems from 1998 when the Attitude Era was beginning. This period is regarded by many as the glory days of wrestling and the evolution, pun intended, of Triple H. What do you think would have happened in the Attitude Era if Shawn Michaels did not injure his back? Do you think that DX would have picked up the same way with Shawn still at the helm? And how do you think that it would have affected Triple H's career overall? That question coming from Dylan in Brooklyn, New York. Very good question about the times gone by.
You know, it's a tremendous question because, you know what, Shawn Michaels, as amazing of an in-ring performer as he is, has been, and maybe forever will be, was also one of the biggest detriments to that locker room. Mm-hmm. I mean,
by his own admission,
Shawn Michaels caused more problems, issues, shenanigans than anybody else, and I'm willing to bet that if Shawn Michaels would not have gotten hurt, there may not have been a Stone Cold Steve Austin era. There may have not have been a Rock. There may have not have been a Mick Mankind Foley, and there may very well not have been the New Age Outlaws. I mean, guys that were all very beneficial to that era. And you know what? Triple H may have gotten there because they were pals and they were buddies and they were friends. But is that a duck? My goodness, I'm just telling you, I don't know if the other guys would have been elevated. I think Shawn Michaels was difficult to work with. By him leaving for X amount of months or years, whatever it may have been, those guys each found their stride, they all found their spot, and the Attitude Era was born. I think that it was a good thing Shawn Michaels was gone.
Triple H deserves a lot of credit because he was put into that role, and I think adding the New Age Outlaws that next night on Raw after Shawn Michaels lost to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania really did reset D-Generation X, if you will, and really did allow that faction, if you will, to go on a steady course towards carrying WWE for the next several months. And you're right, without Shawn Michaels there, it made it had a freshness to us.
A door was wide open.
And Triple H saying about Shawn Michaels, you dropped the ball. And I still remember the cage half up at the end of that Raw from Albany, New York, after WrestleMania 14. The New Age Outlaws come in, and it's mayhem, it's bedlam, if you will, and they stand tall. The four of them. And clearly that was DX going forward. And I, as a fan, was able to easily accept that.
When I think DX, I think Triple H, Chyna, Road Dogg, Billy, X-Pac. I don't think Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Because the Attitude Era was so big, so huge, so over the top, that when it was D-Generation X, it was ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to suck it. it wasn't Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
But DX would evolve to being Triple H, and arguably Triple H's career would not be anywhere near where it is right now without that moment, without that time.
No, because Triple H was allowed to shine, allowed to show his personality, his character, his sense of humor, his creative ability. And Triple H was a guy that definitely benefited from Shawn Michaels leaving, even though I think he still would have been a star, just not as big of a star as he was.
Thank you very much for that question, Dylan from Brooklyn, New York. Let's go to our next question now here on Fan Appreciation Night on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. And it comes from EJ from Joliet, Illinois. His question is, as a booker, what match do you think will sell better to a crowd? And let me start over there as I try to read what EJ wrote here. As a booker, what match do you think will sell better to a crowd and you like to book better? A spot fest that pops a crowd but no storytelling, or a match that tells a great story but is really not that athletic?
Well, I guess the match you want to book, if you want to be in the creative process, if you want to be a booker, the guy that's going to sell pay-per-views, you want a match that tells a story. You want to see the baby face get that heel that has wronged him, whatever it may be. I would you know what, the TLC matches between the Hardys, Edge and Christian and the Dudleys were fantastic, and they did tell a story, but people remember the big bumps. The Mick Foley, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. That match
Good God Almighty. That
match told a great story, but people remember the big bumps. I prefer the matches like Hogan and Andre, like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, guys like Steamboat and Savage, where they're given X amount of time to tell a story. Triple H and Undertaker, there were no big swantons, there were no big high spots, there was nothing over the top crazy. It was two guys that were in a fight that beat the crap out of each other. Those are the best matches. Those are the ones that when the people leave, they're like, wow, that was amazing. I felt it. You could feel the emotion. It looked real. It felt real. That's the matches that you want to book. Those are the ones that sell the tickets because the fans believe that it could actually happen.
Does that make a difference? Follow up to EJ's question here, and EJ has a follow-up, which is, how would you define psychology of a match, and does it make a difference? I guess maybe we'll rephrase that and say, does it make a difference to today's fan if that is there or not? Because there were fans who didn't like Triple H and the Undertaker match of WrestleMania. There were fans who liked those spot fests. Does psychology matter to today's fan, or is it an art that's so far gone that they don't realize that they are or are not getting it?
I guess it depends on the audience. If it is a Raw SmackDown audience that is predominantly kids, maybe not as much.
Insurance?
If it's a Ring of Honor or a TNA Impact Wrestling audience where the fans are a little bit older, maybe so. Here's my take on a good psychology. You're in a fight. You're beating somebody up. Your object is to win the match, okay? If you punch somebody and kick somebody and knock them down, why would you pick somebody back up to punch and kick them down again? Knock them down, stay on them.
I've seen fights that go that way.
But not often. Okay, if you're really trying to beat somebody and win a match, win a fight, you don't knock them down, pick them up, knock them down, pick them up. You get on top of them and you go to town. That's a good psychology of a match, is you want to win. You don't want to worry about flips off a top rope. Tell a story, good versus evil, beginning, middle, and end. That's what Really?
Well, you said winning, and it reminded me that you're a loser and I'm a winner.
I still believe that's compensating for something.
Go big or go home.
Most of them go home.
Thank you, EJ and Dylan, for those first two questions here on Fan Appreciation Night. We're going to take a time out, but still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report, we've got our Supplemental Draft. We'll review the results of the draft, which can be seen right now at pwrshow.com. A fun draft that occurred this past Wednesday night on Primetime Wednesday. And we'll be picking our final two names to round out our draft teams in just a few moments, in addition to more of your questions. This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night, right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Hey everybody, I'm Sunny, the original diva of the WWE and 2011 WWE Hall of Famer, and you're watching Pro Wrestling Report on My 24.
Join the Pro Wrestling Report and Great Lakes Championship Wrestling for free live wrestling action featuring the main event of Al Snow versus Rob Terry, including 5 other huge matchups. Free admission Saturday, May 5th at Al's Harley-Davidson, 1925 South Moreland Road in New Berlin, Wisconsin. 4 o'clock p.m. bell time. Go to pwrshow.com for more information. 6 huge matchups featuring the main event of Al Snow versus Rob Terry, Saturday, May 5th. Free admission at Hal's Harley-Davidson.
Oh my God, it's Charlie Haas and it's Shelton Benjamin. We are wrestling's greatest tag team and the always tag team champions. And you are watching the Pro Wrestling Report on My 24.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television right here on My 24 Milwaukee, the Saturday night edition. And for those of you who visit us online, pwrshow.com, you know that there is also a Wednesday night edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, which you can watch each and every week at pwrshow.com. And this past Wednesday, it was the 2012 Pro Wrestling Report Draft.
Yes, it was.
And the draft is not over. And I know many of you have been tweeting me, asking me, Facebooking me about the fact that Cody Rhodes was stolen from me in the wild card at the end of the draft. You know what? We're going to be just fine. Going to be just fine because, again, if you look at my team overall, I've got the most well-rounded roster that will guarantee that this cup will be coming home again to me in 2013 when I win the draft on April 7th, right after WrestleMania 29 from New York, New Jersey. So, with that being said, it's time now to go to our final 2 picks, David Hero. And you'll notice Mike Wickett is absent from this set because
I miss Mike Wickett.
He has been banned.
He is a beacon of light on this draft.
He's a stooge for you, which I think is actually disgusting in any shape and form.
Do I pick first or do you get to pick?
No, I definitely get to pick first because the last wild card, in case you weren't keeping score, was you stealing Cody Rhodes from me. But first, let's go over the results of the draft and who selected what. And we'll start with the inferior team of the Mighty Mouse Club.
It's the Super Friends.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always get that confused. I thought Mighty Mouse was a super friend.
He is a super friend. He's a super mouse.
That one picked the following names in order, 1 through 10. CM Punk, John Cena, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio,
Ryback. He's a stud. Jealous.
The Miz, Ken Anderson, Bobby Roode, Lord Tensai, and Kane.
Are you making fun of Lord Tensai?
I'm not making. I'm making fun of your entire roster. This couldn't sell. This could not. This would do a worse buy rate than December to December.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 former world champions on that team.
Former. What have you done for me lately? Anyways, it's your team. I'll let you suffer through the pains of that. And my team, ladies and gentlemen, in order: Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho, Brodus Clay, The Big Show, Mark Henry, Santino Marella, and Randy Orton.
How does Santino Marella get drafted before Randy Orton?
How does Ryback get drafted after having 2 matches on TV?
He's the next big thing.
As you know, in the wild card, Cody Rhodes went to the Mighty Mouse Club, and The Miz came on over to the Nelson family. But now it is time for our final 2 picks in the supplemental draft as we round out our rosters. And ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to tell you that the first selection I will make in the supplemental draft is the former TNA World Champion, the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Jeff Hardy.
You know, that, my friend, is a very solid pick. You know what? Well done. He's going to score. He's going to get you points.
I don't need you telling me how good my picks are because, again, winner.
You know, now it's the supplemental.
Dinner.
I got to go with guys that are going to be the sleepers. The guys are going to get some points. The guys are going to cause some havoc, shake things up a little bit, as they say.
It's time to shake things up again.
I am going to have to go with Linda Kay's favorite wrestler, Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
This is about, your roster is about as pathetic as when Sarah Palin was announced as McCain's running mate.
It is all about creativity, and Zack Ryder is going to be on his way.
Ladies and gentlemen, my final pick in the draft, the supplemental draft, number 12, final person joining the Nelson family, is the current TNA television champion. I'm sorry, the current TNA X Division champion from right here in the Milwaukee area, Austin Aries is number 12.
A double,
absolutely. Yep, sure did.
Well, keeping that theme of TNA champions, I think I will go with the current TNA television champion. I'm going to go with Robbie E. I have Robbie E. and Zack Ryder. I got the East Coast well represented. Oh, how do you like them apples?
Well,
champ?
the belt will continue to be played hot potato with, so whatever. Your team does not. Anyways, you may as well. Do you want to just give me that now? Do you want to just?
Yeah, you
want to
have
concede?
second place, then I'll take your first place trophy.
No, you're not stealing anything else from me. 3,205 points, ladies and gentlemen. 3,200 points.
Why?
And I never formally got a chance to thank Heath because you're the loser.
Look at that.
You're the loser.
Ridiculous.
Let's go now to our next question here on Fan Appreciation Night, and it comes to us from Tom in Thailand. Tom has the following question. Is there any way that a wrestler can influence the result of a match? By that I mean, do bookers sometimes wait to see who performs better or gets a better crowd reaction in the match before sending a message to the referee to say who wins that match? That coming from Tom out in Thailand.
I've never seen that. I've never heard of that. It may have happened, but pretty much once those guys leave the curtain, they know what way it's going to be going. I mean, too much stuff can be lost in translation. Most of it is well thought out, well prepared. Spots are figured out. No, not at all.
Two very substantial instances where this could have but did not come into play. And one of them being Rock Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
Right.
It's a match where I don't think the crowd reacted in the way that many people expected. And The Rock reacted in a beautiful way where he basically went heel, if you will, in the matchup.
I don't think he did. I think he could have gone heel.
He played to the audience's reaction to the match
at times.
But
I think Hogan reeled him in quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm. But that was an instance where if this were something that happened, you would expect that maybe there would have been a different outcome to that particular matchup because Toronto was firmly behind Hulk Hogan. Another instance where people had different ideas of what was going to happen when they left the curtain was the infamous Montreal Screwjob. Whatever you want, Brett.
Yeah. But once again, that was all well thought out and figured out before those guys even, hit the gorilla position.
Now, matches do change, whether it be for reason of injury, whether it be for reason of time, whether it be for any other production kind of reason, and that information definitely does get communicated. And maybe there have been instances where a whole finish has been changed, where a match ends wrong. Think back to the Royal Rumble 2005, perhaps it was, when Batista got eliminated. Vince McMahon had to come out. He tore both his quads. That was something that wasn't supposed to happen, and they had to correct it. So there's a lot of audibles that happen in professional wrestling, and generally these things, Tom, happen as an unplanned event. So thank you very much for that question, Tom, from out in Thailand. And let's go to our next question now, our final question, which comes to us. Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to take a timeout because you've exhausted me with your
spin. What have I done?
Well, this pathetic roster of yours. I mean, I look at this and I can't help but just I might internally
You're
combust.
calling CM Punk pathetic?
I didn't say that. I said your roster as a whole is pathetic. It's like you took.
I have Cody Rhodes on my team now. Is he pathetic?
I didn't say anything about any individual on this team. I said your team as a whole is pathetic.
I can't believe you called Kane pathetic.
Did not do that. I made it quite clear that I did not do that. We're going to take a time out, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's the final question. You're in the Fan Appreciation edition of the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night.
Hello, this is Jeff Hardy, the Charismatic Enigma, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report on My 24 Milwaukee.
Join the Pro Wrestling Report and Great Lakes Championship Wrestling for free live wrestling action featuring the main event of Al Snow versus Rob Terry, including 5 other huge matchups. Free admission Saturday, May 5th at Al's Harley-Davidson, 1925 South Moreland Road in New Berlin, Wisconsin. 4 o'clock p.m. bell time. Go to pwrshow.com for more information. 6 huge matchups featuring the main event of Al Snow versus Rob Terry, Saturday, May 5th. Free admission at Hal's Harley-Davidson.
Bring it on. Can we start the generator, please? The Wildcard Generator. And look at that.
Yeah,
it's The Miz.
Yeah.
The Miz.
Yes! Yes!
Quickly, Damien, your thoughts on attaining Damien, your thoughts on attaining the services of The Miz.
Thank you, Wildcard Generator. What a team!
Amazing what happens in a year.
Like the Miz is now a part of the Nelson family. Yes.
One good turn of the Wildcard Generator deserves another, so let's find out which member of the Nelson family will be joining the Super Friends, replacing the Miz.
But I think
Fire up the Wildcard Generator.
A big enough team where we could afford to lose one of these people. I think that we can do that. Not worried at all. There's nothing we can really do but fix this in the supplemental next week. So let's see. Who's it going to be?
And there it is. Damien's #1 pick, Cody Rhodes. The endorsed Cody Rhodes is leaving the Nelson family to join Team Super Friends. I'm not sure if you're thrilled with Cody Rhodes or happier that Damien loses the endorsed one.
You know what? Nope. See?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Anderson, and you are watching Damian Nelson and my super friend David Hero on Milwaukee's My 24. Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero, and it's Fan Appreciation Night.
You called Tensai pathetic?
No, what I did, if you want to play this game, you're the one who sat here a couple of weeks ago and said that the people out there wrestling right now in WWE can't wrestle. You said that.
I did say that.
I am not saying
I said they
that
weren't
any
as
of
good
these
as
people.
the Hulk
No,
Hogan
you
era.
did not say that. No, you definitively said they could not wrestle. That's what you said.
No, I didn't.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is what you said. Yes.
Liar.
Your memory. You need to get your memory checked.
I have a great memory.
Are you that despondent from
it's
losing?
It's just short. That's the problem.
I believe your roster as a whole is pathetic, but it won't matter at the end of the day because, again, I have the most well-rounded roster ever.
Yeah, you got Mark Henry and Brodus Clay and Big Show. Absolutely.
It's Fan Appreciation Night, ladies and gentlemen, and we are answering your questions. And our final question of the evening comes from Andy. Andy, whose question is, I know TNA has tried several times when they signed Christian, Kurt Angle, and Jeff Hardy to get a broader fan base than the diehards. But Christian wasn't at singles main event level yet, Kurt wasn't as popular as he once was, and WWE tainted Hardy for fans. This is Andy's opinion. Could Cena be the savior for TNA, or would even his popularity be hurt by bad booking, lack of smart advertising, etc.? Basically looking at some of the people who have gone over to TNA Wrestling in the past and whether they've been successful or not, and asking the question of what would a John Cena migration to TNA Wrestling do for them?
Well, you know, when Christian left, he was a mid-card guy.
Rising fast, though. Because he had just come out of that thing with McMahon in Madison Square Garden, and he was the peeps.
But he was still mid-card. Mm-hmm. When Kurt Angle came in, it was surrounded with controversy that he needed to go into rehab, he had to quit, whatever else, his body was broken. Jeff Hardy could have been the John Cena guy.
Right.
But he left at SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Somewhere around there, I believe.
And didn't debut in TNA until January. Mm-hmm. So he was off TV for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So that kind of, John Cena absolutely could change the entire face, the entire TNA Impact Wrestling planet. because of just how much of a big crossover star he is. I mean, right now he's probably a bigger crossover star than Hulk Hogan would be, because John Cena is far more connected with today's wrestling fans than Hulk Hogan.
And anything could happen in professional wrestling, but it's amazingly unlikely.
See, it's not just me. You confuse all these sheets. It's just shenanigans around
I didn't
here.
bring it up. I was fine. I was still able to maintain conversation and discuss things while I arrange my forms here so that we can present the best show possible, because it's fan appreciation night,
it's
and I
all
want to make
about
sure we
the
don't miss
fans.
anything.
It's all about the fan appreciation. But yeah, John Cena, if he were to go into TNA, is definitely the game changer. John Cena on Team Super Friends, again.
Yeah, he was on your team last year, right?
Yes, he was.
And you lost. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Alberto Del Rio was on your team last year, right? And you lost. Ken Anderson was on your team. Oh, you lost. Bobby Roode was on. You lost.
But I added key acquisitions. I got CM
The only
Punk.
key is the one to the loser's suite. That's all you have.
At least I got
Fan
a suite.
Appreciation Night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the program. And remember, you can always check us out, pwrshow.com. Exclusive episode content available there, including a Wednesday night edition of Primetime each and every week. And you can also email us your questions or comments. We'll do more of these fan appreciation shows where we just answer
Absolutely,
questions.
yes.
And give the answers to the questions that you have out there in the wrestling world. So, for that one, this is the winner of the 2011 PWR Draft, Damian Nelson, saying thank you so much for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night.